Hello everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking. Technically, I'm taking the Undead Viking hat off, I guess, today, and I'm putting on my Tasty Minstrel Games hat, if you will, and coming to you as Lance, the board game publisher. I have now worked for Tasty Minstrel Games for 3 years, and, you know, except for, like, maybe my children and the day that I got married to or met my beautiful wife, the day I started working full-time in the board game hobby is probably one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. This is a game that we are currently seeking funding for on Kickstarter, and I wanted to make this quick video just kind of tell you about this game and hopefully convince you that you'd like to have this on your shelf and you can go ahead and back it, and when we publish it, then you would have your very own copy. Dragon's Interest is a game in which each person is going to be in charge of their kingdom. Their kingdom has been destroyed over the years by war. Everybody else at the table runs a kingdom, and you've all been warring with each other for so long that you've depleted your treasuries, and you don't have anything left, basically. And so you have a truce now with everyone, and you want to rebuild, but as I said, you've been at war for so long you don't have any money. But there is one person that has money, and that's her, the dragon that lives on top of the mountain. She has lots of gold. You can see tons of gold, but you know, it comes with a very, very steep price. You will owe the dragon, and of course, if you can't make the dragon happy, the dragon will swoop down and burn your kingdom to the ground. So this game is two parts. It is a game of It is an economic game of borrowing money to rebuild important buildings of your kingdom, and there's a high level of interaction, like as far as wheeling and dealing with the other players at the table. But also, it is, if you played Jesse Lee's previous game called Ponzi Scheme, that mechanism of your creditors coming and wanting a return on their investment, you'll be familiar with it, because of the fact that in this case it is the dragon that wants the investment. You got to stay one step ahead of what the dragon is owed to make sure that you're still in the game, and hopefully somebody else gets their kingdom burned to the ground, and at that point, if you have the best kingdom, you will win. This game is a lot of fun, and I really believe in it. I've enjoyed the heck out of all my plays of it. But obviously, we wouldn't be publishing a game if we didn't really truly believe in just how good it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how the game is played, and hopefully after watching that, you'll see something that you really, really like, and you'll find a reason why you think you want to have it on your shelf to be able to bring down on game night to play with your friends if that occurs. So here it is. That is Dragon's Interest. I'm going to show you how the game is played now. Alright everybody, so this is Dragon's Interest. I'm going to show you how the game is played. Now before I dive into that, just a couple of things. One, this is a prototype that I was sent by my buddy Andy, who works at TMG with me. He is our print and play guy, but also he's one of our game developers and game designers. And so while the artwork and everything in here is exactly what you're going to be seeing in the published game, just keep in mind that the actual quality of the components are going to be definitely upgraded and up to the Tasty Minstrel game standards that you've come to enjoy and love. Two, the meeples that we have here are going to be meeples that actually look like knights. These don't look like the knights that, those are just meeples, right? Third, the coins that you see here are from our previous publication of Colosseum. So these aren't the dragon coins, but I do have some samples of the dragon coins that I can show you here real quick. Now these, like you can see, there's like the dragon with a 10 there. Now these will have the wash on them, like you can kind of tell here. I'll just show you one of these old Colosseum coins where, like, you can see there's that dark wash that's on there. That wash will definitely be on the published version of these, so the details of the coins will pop. Now here is here is the 5. I apologize. Here, let me actually show that to you. You can see there. And then finally, we have the 1, which is like the dragon's mouth. It has like the 1 in it. But there you go. So those will be the dragon coins that will be in the published version. If you choose to add those on to the game, that is an option. If you don't get that, you'll just get cardboard coins that'll work exactly the same. It's just, obviously, if you want metal coins, we have that as an option. I'm going to show you how the game is played. It won't take very long at all. Just keep in mind that normally you have a player board in front of you, like so, but I'm just not going to have that because it's kind of in the way. Each player will get this tableau in front of them. This tableau keeps track of the actions that you can take depending upon the different buildings that you have built in your kingdom. Plus it gives you a place to place your buildings as you put them down. Each person will get a deck of cards that looks like this. On one side it shows like the person that you represent, the member of the kingdom that you are. And then on the back side it is like all of these different you know, prices for contracts that you're going to be purchasing buildings with. Each player gets the exact same deck of cards. So this deck of cards is exactly like this, and you know, this plays up to 5 people, so like each one will have that. In the center here is how the game will begin. Not every single time, but like there are certain tiles, like this tile here you can see has like this like different this harbor here has this red background, red and white background there. That means it's a starting tile, but however these two tiles don't have a starting what they just have like the normal tile that looks like this, plus they have a number on there. This tile will always be at the beginning. That's the generous dragon tile. What that means is that the very first turn of the game, whatever building you choose to purchase, you're going to get double the money that that is on the tile that's listed right there. One of the most important pieces of the game is going to be this dragon box. The dragon box, because all the actions, well, I shouldn't say all the actions, but like 4 out of the 6 actions you take with the buildings are going to use this box. And this is like a magnetized box that you will be allowed to throw things in there and then hand them to the other player. I'll get to that when I start talking about how the game is worked. So each person's going to start with 4 knights, which you'll have, and the knights and the money and your cards, for that matter, are kept behind your player screen because you want that information to be secret. You don't want other people to know what you're carrying. So when the game begins, you're going to see that there's these different buildings available for these different amounts, and what everybody's going to do is they're going to pick like a dollar amount. I'm just going to grab one here at random. So let's say this $10, and you're going to basically, this is your offer to the dragon for one of these buildings. And basically, the dragon doesn't have the buildings. It's like you're getting the money that it's going to take to get that building or whatever. But eventually, like so, this 10 that I've chosen, eventually what happens is that like I borrowed that money from the dragon pays the contractors $10, and then but eventually I'm going to have to pay that $10 back. Alright, so then what everybody will do, and here I'll just grab one at random here, I thought this, and there'll be more obviously. This, you know, so everybody will turn over their cards like so, and then each player, depending upon whoever spent the most amount of money, will then choose one of these buildings, and the next person will go, and the next person will go, and so forth. If 2 people bid the same amount of money, whoever is the closest to the first player, including the first player obviously, will get to go first. So, and the first player will move around the table as the game continues. So, so like if I was like the first to go with $10, you know, maybe I really want the harbor, maybe I take this, maybe I they take the Adventurers Guild or the arena, or maybe I'm going second or third because of the fact that there's like a 9 and 11. It is the generous dragon moment. So let's say like I get the harbor, I would place in like, because these 2 are taken already by other players, and I'm going third. I take that, and then I'm going to go ahead and tuck this particular contract there, meaning that I have a $10 contract that is going to come due whenever the dragon comes asking for the money for harbor contracts, and I'll explain how that works in a little bit. Now when it comes time to take your cash, you can take your cash however you want. I got $8 for the harbor, but I'm doubling it because it is the generous dragon turn, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get $16. So like I could take a 1, a 5, and a 10, or I could take 3 5s and a 1. The reason why I say you can take any different amount is because of the fact that when you're putting your money or your knights into the dragon box here, like subterfuge and hiding the amount that you put in there can sometimes be very helpful. People are going to be trying to keep track of how much money you have. People are going to be trying to keep track of how many knights you have, and you're going to be wanting to hide that. Now, you might have noticed that the knights themselves have 2 different sizes as well. I mean, obviously these are meeples and not knights, but just, yes, there are 2 different sizes, and that's also to add to the subterfuge as well. The larger meeple in like the game, the published game, will be a larger knight meeple, and in this one it is the smaller meeple, and it will be a smaller knight meeple in the published game. This is worth 5, and these are worth 1, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so after everybody's gone, we'll just, you know, everybody's picked their the different buildings they want. Starting at the first player, players may, remember the token here is may, choose to like use one of their buildings for the power that they have. Alright, so the actions that you're going to be taking are actually, all, as I said, they're on the player board here. And so I just grabbed a player board quick to show this to you. So each one of these, like say like the castle here, these 3 actions and the action here on the green churches, they functionally act the same, but there are very, very distinct differences that are important. So the first section of the action tells you exactly what you get. So if you decide to take a castle action, you get 1 knight for every castle that you have. If you take the harbor action, you get 1 coin for every harbor you have. Then with this, you get 1 coin for every one you have, and then with the green church here, you get 1 knight for every one of those that you have. But now here's where the change comes. So this second section is the offering, and this is your attempt to try to take somebody else's building, either by basically making them an offer they can't refuse, literally, or making an offer that is so lucrative for them that they choose to do so. So like here, we'll be offering knights. Here we'll be offering money. We'll be offering knights again, and here we're offering money again. Now, the way, and I'll explain the other 2 actions here in just a little bit. So the way the offering happens is that you will take this particular box, and like if it's offering knights, like let's say you take like these 2, and this is where like having the ability to have these 2 different. So people will hear me probably put not very many knights in there. You'll hand it to another player, and you'll say, I want one of your churches, or something. And so then they will crack this open, and they'll look. Now, everybody else might hear the fact that there was like 2 or very few knights in there, but they have no idea if I put like 2 1s in there, if I put 2 5s in there, you know, whatever. And so I hand this to the other player. They're going to look in here, and they have 2 options. They can either take what's in the box. So, they can either take what's in the box, like so, and keep it, and then hand me the building in question, or they can, from their own supply, put the exact same thing in there. So they put that in there, and they'd hand the box back to me, and now they get to take one of my buildings for doing so. So, like, it's one of those things where it's like the other players at the table have no idea what exactly changed hands, but myself and the other player would definitely know. Now, the way it works with the money is exactly the same way. Through subterfuge or whatever, you like place some coins in the box, like so. You place those in there, and then you hand it off to somebody else. They're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to look inside, see if they can either match it or if they want to match it, and then make the same decision as to whether or not they're going to go ahead and either give you a building or take one of yours. Now remember, as I said, like even if somebody takes that building away from me, I still owe this money. There is like, the dragon doesn't care. The dragon shows up and says, I want that $10 for the harbor. I was like, I don't have a harbor. I don't care. I want my $10. You borrowed $10. That's your problem. You need to figure it out. So just keep in mind that like you're going to have to kind of keep an idea of like how much money you're going to need on hand when the dragon comes calling. All right, so the other 2 actions are the arena and the adventurers guild. And these work as kind of a classic bidding option. So with the orange buildings, what you'll do is that you will once again, you'll get to collect money. You'll get to collect a coin for every one of these. And then for the red adventurers guild, you'll be able to collect 1 knight for every one of those buildings that you have. And then if you're the person that activates that particular building. In the case of the Adventurers Guild, or sorry, the arena, you will put 6 coins in front of you, like so. They'll put, boom, 6 coins in front of them, and then you're going to take like a certain number of knights from your hand, and you're going to put them in front of you like so, and then everybody's going to reveal the number of knights they have. If you win by having the most knights in your hand, you spit those knights into the general supply, and you get to take the 6 coins. If you are the same person that put the 6 coins out there, you get to take those 6 coins back, and you get to double your money from the bank and add another 6 coins to how much you have. If you tie if there is a tie for the number of knights in people's hands, the person who selected the action gets to pick who is the winner. And so obviously if it's themselves, they can pick themselves to be the winner. Now it won't always be you, which is weird. You might think, well, why is that? And I'll explain why here in just a little bit. But they get to decide, not like the first player or anything like that. Now the Adventurers Guild works exactly the same way. You collect your knights, and then you are going to put 3 knights in front of you, like so, and then you're going to put money in your hand, and you're going to put your hand in the middle, and you're going to reveal, and then the same exact thing. Either somebody else is going to take those 3 knights, or you're going to be able to take those 3 knights back, and then add 3 knights because of the fact that you got back what you've invested. Same thing, if you tie on the money, the person who took the action gets to decide the winner. Alright, so that's the entire turn. It's just like you get a building, you get a contract underneath, and then you are going to take an action on a building, and then the other person goes, and everybody gets to go. Now, after all of that is done, what'll happen is that the dragon will move. Now, normally I would have left those contracts out, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. But normally the dragon just moves 1 space clockwise around, and when it moves over the building, anybody who has a contract underneath that color is going to have to pay the dragon. They're going to have to come up with the cash. Like this would be $4. You come up with the cash and you pay the dragon the money. If you can't pay the dragon the money, the dragon becomes upset and burns down your kingdom, and the game immediately ends. That isn't necessarily the only way the game can end. The game can end if one person has managed to build 10 buildings in front of them, or you've depleted all of the stacks, and all of them have the same number of tiles. So if you deplete them all, then the game ends at that point. Alright, so that is why you might actually have somebody try to win and get money, because of the fact that if you realize that somebody isn't going to be able to repay the dragon, then you're going to try to make sure they have the money if you are not in the place to win. So how do you win? You win by having the most points. You earn points by having a building, and basically having a building on any of these stacks is worth a point. Doesn't matter how many buildings you have, just having a building there. So you could have a total of 6 points by having at least one building of each of these. Then having the most of a type of building is worth an extra point. So that is and so this is a lower point scoring game, but so you'll have some people winning games with 7 points, but it is difficult to actually keep your buildings, because people are going to be taking them away from you, and also you're trying to have buildings but not spend a lot of money on them as well. So there's kind of a dichotomy there. Now there are a few other types of tiles that aren't necessarily going to be buildings, and I just wanted to actually show some of these to you. Some of the buildings will have this sort of tile. Whenever you see one of these, the dragon actually, and these come out and you'll see them, right? Before you'll know. The dragon will actually move an extra spot when you have a tile like this. So you'll know that it's very possible you'll end up having to spend even more money that particular turn. Then there are tiles, and I'm going to dig one out here. There are tiles that actually are going to show invaders. And so when you have one of these tiles, it's an event that causes you either you're going to lose a building or you're going to lose 2 knights if you can't defend yourself against the raiders. And so these are tiles that will affect how the game progresses. But as I said, one of 3 ways the game will end, and once the game is over, you will figure out who has the most points, and they will be the winner of the game. Dragon's Interest has been a game that we have enjoyed a great deal with TMG, and that's why we want to publish it. We think that people that enjoy like interactive games, enjoy the medieval theme, medieval fantasy theme, and also people that enjoyed our previous publication, Ponzi Scheme, will enjoy this twist on those mechanisms, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Thank you very much for your time, and you have yourself one heck of an awesome day.